See any wares you like?
I found some notes scattered across the basin. I believe they belong to you.
I lost them in a wind and... a book? You turned the pages into a real book.
Is that all right?
It's beautiful. Here, in return, a fine runestone from the old Tevinter ruins. It's the least I can offer.
I read some of your notes. Do you really believe everything you wrote?
Everything has an explanation, Inquisitor. Through the actions of men or the gods. We're all connected in a web of amazing things. I feel it. I only need the right vantage to see it.
I could use an experienced traveler to go far and wide and write back what he saw.
You wish me to join you? Your Inquisition?
You'd be paid to visit places all over the world. It might give you that vantage you seek.
By the gods, all of Thedas. And you'd pay me to write to you? You'll not regret this. I'll give word to Thane Sunhair, then join your hold.
Goat-kissing, blood-drinking, Hakkonite chicken crabs! Thank you, Inquisitor. Storvacker has returned. My hunters saw what you and she did to the Hakkonites who held her. In trapping Storvacker, the jaws of Hakkon broke their peace oath with Stonebear Hold. Our blades are yours.
I assume your bear is all right after whatever they were going to do to her.
She is fine. As for what they were going to do, my hunters brought items back from where they held Storvacker. I know what they intended. It is not something you will like. Something few Avar would tell Lowlanders. But you must hear it. The jaws of Hakkon sought to bind their god in mortal form and bring war to the lowlands.
A god's god?
Yes. Hakkon Wintersbreath, bringer of the cold winds of war.
How do you send a god to attack someone?
With much blood and many foolish rituals. Though you have given them pause, they will try again. Ages ago, the old jaws of Hakkon did the same. They brought their god to life to destroy the lowlands. Their foolishness lost Hakkon to all Avar. Now they would free him and begin again.
What did you mean when you said that their foolishness lost Hakkon to all Avar?
When they bound Hakkon to mortal form, he became blood of this world. He could hear no prayers, nor speak to the augurs. All he could do was kill. Then he vanished instead of dying, as though rendered mute, lost for ages. If they sought to free him from mortal form, I could understand. Making him attack the lowlands is a fool's work.
The Avar wouldn't like the idea of war with the lowlands.
Is that what your skalds say? It does us no harm to be feared. If our land is threatened, we will happily fight. And a raid here and there keeps both sides sharp. But we have no need of your lowlands. Not when our goats are fat and our fish are plenty. And not when the sky is torn with demons. Only a fool fights in a burning boat.
What would happen if the Jaws of Hakkon succeeded in their plan?
Hakkon would come to the lowlands in the form of a great beast. The Hakkonites would join him, their numbers swelled by foolish young warriors dreaming of honor names. Even if war were needed, it should not be like that. With gods wreaking havoc in blood-soaked fields. The gods should stay where they belong.
Based on what we know, what must we do to stop the Jaws of Hakkon?
Their hold is an old lowlander fortress. It is shielded by a great wall of ice. Magic even the Hakkonites do not know. Unravel its magic, and we will scatter their bones so the lady never finds them.
I would like to talk about Storvacker, your hold beast.
What would you know?
The way you asked us to help find Storvacker made it sound like you were willing to break your oath.
I could say that Avar hold all oaths sacred. That no true Avar would break them. It would be a good lie. Lowlanders doubtless say the same of themselves. A cunning Thane can find a hole in the tent of any promise. A place for the cold wind to sneak in. We are bone and blood. Oaths last until they are broken.
Now that we know what the Hakkonites are doing, the oath no longer applies.
Yes. Storvacker is kin of our hold. In binding her, they broke peace. We may strike as we will. Had they continued this foolish plan but left our hold beast alone, it would be less clear. We are lucky that Storvacker likes to find trouble. Keeps the hold busy.
Did you see Scout Grandin on your way back? He should be on watch, but he's gone. Grandin was a good friend of Jace Turbat, one of the researchers. He was killed by Hakkonites. I'm starting to worry that Grandin's gone and done something stupid. He was supposed to send word back when he reached his station, but nothing. Keep an eye out for him, please. For me.
I helped our soldiers defend against a Hakkonite raid.
That's a relief. We've lost enough men to them.
May I help you, Inquisitor?
How were you assigned to the Inquisition?
I study primarily the early Chantry, particularly around the signing of the Navaran Accord. That was why I transferred to the University of Orlais, closer to the source than Starkhaven. Sadly, most scholars took Inquisitor Emeridon's history as settled, even with so many questions remaining. No one took my ideas seriously until your Inquisition formed. I wrote Ambassador Montelier, and, well, here we are.
I take it you're not from Orlais originally?
No, Starkhaven. Fourth son of Lord and Lady Kenrick, destined for Chantry service. Fortunately, I convinced them the university might be a fashionable alternative.
I'd like to discuss Inquisitor Emeridon.
Of course, your predecessor. Existing historical records are contentious. Some say he was a devout Andrastian. Others suggest he cared little for religion, gaining leadership of the Seekers through Emperor Draken's friendship. He disappeared around the time the Seekers of Truth, the original Inquisition, incorporated into the newfound Chantry. It's not clear why. Some say that he was tired of his responsibilities and wanted one last great dragon hunt.
What's it like at the University of Orlais?
Oh, it's brilliant. Some of the greatest minds I've ever known. The university was always well regarded, but Empress Celine made it the envy of all Thedas. She even got them to start admitting elves. Few bent noses, but it's worth it. Knowledge knows no bounds and all. With that unpleasantness with Grand Duke Gaspard done, the university is safe as a haven for knowledge.
A spirit on the island held the memories and possessions of Emeridon's lover, a woman named Talana. It told us that Emeridon was here on orders from Emperor Draken himself, and where he went next.
Andraste's dimples. I may have received tenure from that sentence alone. Emeridon had a lover. Talana, you said. The Inquisitor's Lady Mage. There was such debate over whether she existed. And there were orders? This was a request from Draken? This changes everything.
You don't have a problem receiving information from spirits?
It's not ideal, but since you found corroborating physical evidence, I see no serious issues. Any study of great wars and battlefields carries an inherent risk of contact with demons or spirits. When spirits are willing to talk, most historians love the chance of a first-hand report.
You were surprised to hear that Emeridon had a lover?
Yes. This Talana you mentioned. Her existence has been hotly debated. Some scholars took Inquisitor Emeridon's respect for the Chantry to imply that he remained celibate. In ages past, there were stories about him and his lover, a mage. They made it out to be a star-crossed romance. The Chantry silenced the stories strenuously.
What does it change knowing that Emeridon was on a mission from Emperor Draken?
Everything. One current theory holds that Emeridon was selfishly throwing off his responsibilities to go hunting. Another suggests Draken had him removed or even killed because Emeridon opposed the Navaran Accord. But if this is true, then Emeridon was a loyal servant of Orlais. He was not an embarrassment. He was a patriot protecting Orlais while Drakon fought in the Second Blight.
When I helped the Avar at Stonebear Hold, we learned that the Jaws of Hakkon once bound their god's soul to a beast. According to the spirit, the dragon Ameridan faced was powerful and accompanied by hostile Avar.
You believe they could be one and the same? That would mean... Of course! Of course! Brilliant! 800 years ago, the Second Blight threatened a weak Orlais. A perfect time for the Avar to attack. This Avar god dragon could have endangered the Orlesian Empire had Ameridan not stopped it. That explains why he would accept such a dangerous mission. And likely how he died.
How bad would it be if the contemporary Jaws of Hakkon bound their god to a dragon again?
With Orlais still recovering from the Civil War and the Mage Templar conflict, not to mention the remaining demon rifts and Corypheus himself, a high dragon given malice and magic by an Avar god spirit could, hypothetically, destroy much of Orlais. At least, I hope that was hypothetically.
You're not concerned about the literal existence of an Avar god?
Not particularly. If the Jaws of Hakkon once bound their god to a dragon, it is likely just a powerful spirit. That isn't to downplay the important cultural significance to the Avar, but magic does not equate godhood. Every blight comes from the old gods, which are also dragons corrupted by some outside influence. Sometimes I wonder if we really know what we mean by gods.
History forgot about an attack by a giant magic dragon. If you want something done right, the spirit said to follow the river to the north, and something about spires or spikes.
Up the river, the scouts have had trouble with Hakkonites up there. I'll continue my research, but for now, your guess is as good as mine.
What do you need me to do next, Professor?
That spirit on the island said something about American going upriver to, some place with spires? While you search upriver, I'll continue studying these buckles. That, sounded better in my head.
That Dunwich yet lives while I was so certain of his passing. The Maker smiles on this endeavor.
Your scribe, Dunwich, mentioned something called the Nox Mortar.
Ah, yes. I have yet to lay eyes upon it. Pray do not request details so soon. Not when concrete evidence lies yet unturned.
I've evidence of your Nox Mortar, I think.
Yes. To observe the mark of the teeth. Let me see. Gurgut and Gurgut. But this. A beast unclassified. Interested in the bait presented. What lies before us is an opportunity to greet the unknowable. Yet I confess fear, knowing I lack the skill to confront it. Surely Andraste's herald does not share my limitation. If you would take the bait and confirm its existence, I would be in the Inquisition's debt.
What can you tell me about Nox Mortar?
Mere scraps of knowledge gleaned from bloodstained papers. They speak of a creature enamored of shadow lurking in the darkest places. Silence pays it favor, concealing its awed bulk until a stretched mouth takes its prey. Of course, some of my colleagues deem the beast a mere fancy.
The Inquisition soldier. Grandin.
No, he's different.
Inquisitor, I've abandoned my post, haven't I? I had cause, just missing the permission part.
Harding told us about your friend Jace.
He was studying at the university. Those Hakkon bastards. Jace wasn't a soldier, he wasn't even armed. After this, he was going to show me Val Royeaux. I've never been. I thought we might... I can't let this happen.
You've been fighting your way through the Jaws of Hakkon alone.
I wasn't a soldier either, not before this. I lived in the Circle. Never had the skill for combat spells, so I picked up a sword. I wanted to fight for the Inquisition. The jaws of Hakkon almost ended that, too. I was bleeding out when it saw me. It knows what I know. They will not kill more people. Not like Jace. I will protect them, Inquisitor.
And then, will you stop, or will the rage take you?
It doesn't have to be this way. Release Grandin's spirit.
Release? The spirit remains because I want it to. I will protect our people. I want to fight, Inquisitor.
You're not walking out of here, demon.
If you stop me, then I cannot stop them. I won't allow it.
You must have made a great impression on the Avar. Some of them paid us a friendly visit. A couple even helped repair our fortifications. And one woman brought us a barrel of fermented fish. Kenrick ate some. To be polite, he said. Well, he was a very polite shade of green.
I've news about Scout Grandin.
Maker. Don't tell me. He's dead, isn't he?
Yes, he is dead.
Another one, gone. Just like that. Never get used to it, do you? Maker. I'll miss him. The boy was great company. Terrible jokes, but that was a part of his charm. You know?
Hurry, do not keep me in suspense. Your haunted stare speaks plainly of an encounter with the Nox Mortar.
Is the Nox Mortar a bogfisher, by any chance? A large, aggressive bogfisher?
Bogfisher. That quaint nomenclature inadequately describes its lesser kin. And here is whom they must serve.
Why didn't you...
I told them to have proof of its existence. Minds shall be enlightened. Though when enlightenment comes at the cost of such fearful truths, I must wonder at its tone. Permit my humble gratitude to reflect the risk taken, your worship. Where's Dunnage? Let's draft a letter to the university.
This is brilliant. This must be what the spirit meant. Excellent find. From what I can see, this is an ancillary station. Likely a scouting post for the larger structure to the east. What can it tell us about where Inquisitor Amarie went?
I got Professor Kenrick here safely. The rest is up to you.
Lady Harding was quite nimble in the wilderness.
I'll be watching to make sure the Hakkonites don't come back.
This is Tevinter, from well before the last Inquisitor's time. I understand they use such tiles as locks. Interesting, though not likely related to Amarie. Oh, well done. Well done indeed.
That's something you don't see every day.
A pair of shrines. This one is clearly Andrastian, albeit from a very early period, likely pre-divine. But this is Elven. One of their gods. What was it? Every mother finds Druffalo among sleeping juniper groves. G something. The one with the deer.
What was that? Every mother finds Druffalo.
Oh, it's a memory aid to help me with the names of the elven gods. Every is Elgernan. Mother is Mythal. Finds is Fallow something. I was more focused on early Chantry history. Didn't really do elves.
Are you sure that your memory aid caught all the elven gods?
Well, there's only one F for Falondine. Oh, I suppose I forgot Fenrir.
Most people do.
This isn't him, though. It's one of the ladies, obviously. G something.
That would be Gillenan, mother of the Hala.
Yes! Brilliant, thank you. Oh, that would have bothered me all day.
2 shrines for 2 lovers. Inquisitor Ameridan and Talana. Maybe Talana was an elf.
Oh, yes. That's good. The Chantry expunged references to elves before the Exalted March on the Dales. They erased the Canticle of Shartan. They must have done the same to Talana.
The Chantry should not rewrite history to cover up inconvenient truths.
Regardless, the important thing is what this tells us. It's not a burial site. That much is obvious.
Look at those flowers. They're not native to the area. What if they were left at the shrine as an offering?
Yes. A night of prayer before battle against the dragon. But then where? Where? We're missing something. What are we missing? Oh, where did you go?
Professor, look at this. Shartan 10-7 and Transfigurations 10-1.
Shartan is dissonant. And before them, empty, outstretched, lay the land which led to the gates of Minrathous. And Transfigurations is, the light shall lead her safely through the paths of this world. Why these verses? Why would Inquisitor Ameridan take the time to carve this before going into battle?
The gates of Minrathous. Isn't there a Tevinter fortress in the area?
Yes. Oh, of course! The ritual site! To seal the dragon away, Ameridan's elven mage must have used a spell at a site of great power.
My scouts have checked the fortress. It's sealed behind a wall of ice. It has to be magic.
Let's look around. Ameridan found a way through that ice, so that way should be nearby.
Abandoned this fortress, they left the wall of ice to lock the door behind them?
And every lock has a key.
Like these trail markers. Ameridan must have known how to use them. If they can melt through the ice, that must be where Ameridan sealed away the dragon.
I'll follow the markers and see what we can find.
Let's hope these trail markers can breach the wall of ice around the fortress.
Given that the trail markers retain enough energy to illuminate one another, I see no reason to worry.
But there's still a wall. Light doesn't make walls go away.
This fortress is too well fortified for a direct assault. We must find some other way inside. Perhaps the Avar at Stone Bear Hold will have a suggestion.
Inquisitor, I was going to send word. I found something. This inscription, almost completely faded, but... 2 stood. Felt 60 true before our triumph. A breath in the hunt, and let rest the lowlanders. Worthy of the lady's care. The markings and surrounding artifacts date to Ameridan's time, The references and scripts suggest Avar.
What's your theory?
I need to complete a full survey and have Professor Kenrick evaluate the site himself. But this may be a tribute to Heron and Orina, Inquisitor Ameridan's companions.
What makes you think the inscription refers to Heron and Orina?
It's only a theory, but the age of the markings and surrounding artifacts match the timeline we've established for Ameridan. I found glass fragments in the clay, several with slight veins of discoloration. Blue. Like Templar artifacts.
Templars?
The Templars were a new order in Ameridan's time. Given their small numbers then, few would be found outside the Chantry's reach. It's unusual to find one deep in uncharted territory, unless he traveled here for a purpose, as Heron would have.
You don't think the inscription could refer to Ameridan himself?
It's possible, but Ameridan would have been recognized as a leader, which the inscription might have noted out of respect. And a breath in the hunt? Why note that your hunt continues unless your remaining prey was someone important?
What do you know about Heron?
When the Templar Order was first formed, Sir Heron was among its members. He's arguably the most famous of the original Templars, though he was never one of their leaders. He's better known as one of Inquisitor Ameridan's confidants. They'd known each other since youth.
So they were close? Friends?
When Ameridan was made Inquisitor, Heron's position in his inner circle was assumed. A few ballads about them survive. The type with adventures and happy endings. I don't know if they're true. They remind me of my brothers, though.
What can you tell me about Orina?
Orina was an alchemist in Orzammar. It's said she met Ameridan while dealing with a demon, but it's not known why Ameridan was there. Demons aren't common in the deep roads, but they were a problem for the Inquisition at the time. Orina knew she could help, so she joined Ameridan.
If she left Orzammar, that would make her a surfacer.
She turned her back on the stone, though it said she had few regrets. Some claim she was actually from one of Orzammar's noble families, but who can say? She never used her last name on the surface, and once exiled, the family likely struck her name from personal documents. Professor Kenrick petitioned Orzammar's Shaperate to grant access to their records, but the request was turned down.
What happened here?
An encounter with ancient Avar, and not a friendly one. Ameridan and his companions were outnumbered in an unfamiliar place. If Ameridan's not here, perhaps someone bought him the time needed to keep going?
If this is the resting place of Heron and Orina, it only remains because the Avar took time to honor them.
Respect for a worthy adversary? It wouldn't be out of place.
What will you do with this information?
Professor Kenrick will expect detailed notes on the location, stone and clay samples, and any trace artifacts I can find. If Ameridan's history is compiled, this could be worth an entire chapter. I might get credit on the inside cover.
When you are ready, you have our blades, Inquisitor.
You said that the Jaws of Hakkon first tried binding their god in mortal form hundreds of years ago.
What of it?
In our search for Inquisitor Ameridan, we learned that he came here to fight a great dragon 800 years ago. A dragon that came from the mountains with Avar warriors to attack the lowlands.
Your last Inquisitor must have fought well to stop Hakkon himself.
You're not bothered by the idea that our Inquisitor killed your god?
He didn't kill him. That would have been easier. Whatever fight your Inquisitor finished, the Jaws of Hakkon started. I find no fault with a warrior defending his people.
Do the Avar gods take mortal form on a regular basis?
No. The gods belong in the land of dreams. Whether it is their wish or some augurs that brings them here, battle tears will be shed. The skulls say the Lady of the Skies took mortal form when Tyrda Brightaxe first led the Avar to the mountains. They say many things about Brightaxe and the Lady.
You're the Inquisitor. I hear your people already sing songs of you.
How are you so well informed?
Oh, Hellstim soaks up gossip when he goes trading. He just returned from the lowlands. I'm Fulna Hethstotten, keeper of histories, and Skald to the hold.
I've never met a Skald. Is that anything like a bard?
I suppose. Every hold has someone who sings its songs. Doesn't yours?
Fair enough.
We keep the old songs and histories, the oaths and the legend marks.
I understood all of that, except legend mark.
The Skald before me was born Gulda Elsdotter. She crafted a great new tale for the hold. It pleased the spirits. After that, we called her Gulda Gildan's Song.
So they're titles, honorifics.
Not all carry glory. My father was Heth Mule's head. He'd never let go of a quarrel.
Can you choose a legend mark for yourself?
Only if I wanted to be scorned as a child. I've only been a Skald a few years. I've not made any great feats, good or ill. Yet.
When you are ready, you have our blades, Inquisitor.
I'm ready to attack the jaws of Hakkon.
Good. They will pay the blood price for what they have done. Your Skald and your Scout are here. We can plan the assault.
Oh, I like the sound of Skald. It's more dramatic than Professor. Yes, well, everything we've found out about Inquisitor Emeridon suggests that he never emerged from that Tevinter fortress.
If that is where your Inquisitor defeated Hakkon, that is where the jaws of Hakkon must perform the rite to free him.
Ideally, we stop them before that. I'd rather not fight an Avar god if we don't have to.
You really have no problem with us killing your god?
Gods cannot be reborn until they die. Hakkon needs a good rebirthing.
If you say so.
With its ice wall melted, the fortress is open to attack. We must strike soon, before our foes recover.
They're already trying. I've got most of our forces defending the shrine from Hakkonites who want to restore the wall.
We don't have time to drag siege equipment through the forest to take down those walls.
A siege? We have no need of rock throwers and rams.
I'm no warrior, but with Lady Harding's forces defending the shrine and no way to breach the walls...
Lowlanders. Why not climb the walls?
Your warriors can get over those walls before the Hakkonites stop them?
This is not a war, Stone Daughter. This is a raid. We strike at night, clad lightly. We climb the wall and open the gate from inside.
Well then, unless anyone has something that sounds easier than climbing the walls.
I would not offer what I could not give. It will be done. Perhaps my climbers will earn themselves a legend mark.
Inquisition forces will feign weakness near the shrine. That'll draw some of them away from the fortress.
Not too many, I hope.
Yes, save some for us.
Right, Inquisitor. Husk and I will climb over.
I'll be there to catch Parv when he slips.
Of course you will. You'll be behind me after all.
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor. And Ran Atishan. I'm glad Draken's friendship with our people has remained strong.
How long do you think you've been here?
You say it as though it was... How long?
There has not been an Inquisitor since you disappeared. 800 years ago.
Draken was my oldest friend. He would have sent someone to find me.
You never had the chance. The dark spawn that rose in the Underfells threatened all of Orlais.
I see. Tilana escaped the battle. Did she... Do the records say what became of her?
She returned to the island. From what we can tell, she died trying to reach you through dreams.
I asked her not to. She was a good hunter and the love of my life, but she never... I never wanted this job. Hunting demons was so much simpler than politics. But Drakon told me I was needed. As I suspect you were needed.
It hasn't all been bad.
I am glad to hear it. And sorry to burden you with my unfinished business. The dragon carries the spirit of an Avar god. I lacked the strength to kill it. My own magic was able to bind us all, locked in time. But when the cultists drew that spirit into another vessel, it disrupted my bindings. It is breaking free.
I'm already fighting one would-be god. I can make time for one more.
Then I leave the world in good hands. The passage of years can be delayed, but not ignored. I will soon join Talana at Andraste's side. Take this. It holds the last few memories of an old hunter who was neither as wise nor as strong as he thought. Fight well, Inquisitor. I am honored to have met you.
We'll have to deal with that dragon, especially if it's possessed again.
I've never gotten to see you take down a dragon in person. I must say, it's fun to see it up close.
Perhaps this calls for a new title. Dragon Slayer Harding, perhaps.
Oh, a fancy title goes against the point of being a scout. Nobody should see me coming. Inquisitor Meriden would have been proud that you finished what he started. It's strange. History forgot so much of who he was. They never knew he died saving everyone. Do you ever feel that way?
You weren't in the fortress. How'd you hear about Meriden?
I'm a scout, remember? Who do you think writes the messages Liliana reads?
Right now, half of Thedas would recognize me on sight.
Right, but they see the Inquisitor, this larger-than-life figure. Every time you're more than just a person to someone, you're also less than a person to them. They don't see that a real normal woman fought the Avar and killed that dragon. And they certainly don't know about your strange fixation with elfroot.
My feelings for elfroot are classified, Scout Harding.
I'll carry your secret to my pyre. And for what it's worth, nice work, Llewellyn. Anyway, I'll be at camp if there's anything here you want to finish up. Otherwise, see you at Skyhold.
Inquisitor, you have done more for us than most who are of Stonemere Hold. It is not right that a guest do so much. The Hold has spoken, and you are no guest. You are kin. More than that, your deeds have earned a legend mark worthy of one who broke the jaws of Hakkon. From today, you are known to us as Inquisitor First Thor.
What? I mean, I'm sorry, but... First Thor?
Yes. When the ice breaks and new spring comes to give life to the world, it is a very good name.
I dislike them so far from home. Alam Sharam needs me. The Darkspawn have grown stronger. Some of my brothers would let those creatures destroy Ole. They think Drakon know better than the Imperium. But if we do not stand with the humans against the Darkspawn, we might lose everything we have gained. I will fight this Avar dragon for you, Drakon. And then we shall drive back the Darkspawn together.
But he never returned. And the elves of the Dales ignored the second light, Less than 100 years later, that hostility turned to war and the elves lost their homeland again.
The jaws of Hakkon failed to destroy the lowlands, but their dragon did lead to the end of the elves.
Talana, my love. I should not have asked you to come with me. Though I know you would not have stayed behind. You were a dreamer. And this dragon the Ava have tamed carries a demon inside it. I can see how its presence hurts you. You should be at Halam Shirao reminding our people of our alliance with Drakon. Not here, risking death with me. Still, in the old tongue, your name Talanadas means nothing is inevitable. I will remember your name. And hope.
Ameridan was correct. The presence of such a powerful spirit would have caused a dreamer like Talana immeasurable pain.
Too bright, blinding, breaking, broken. Get to safety. I will seal us both away. It's not forever. Come back with aid. But her leg was broken. She could only lie down and try to see him one last time.
If I must go to the end of Thedas itself for Drakon, I am at least glad to have friends at my side. Talana and Heron have been arguing about Heron using the lyrium to fight demons. Some things never change. Irina has a new alchemical trick she wants to try, like pitch or tar, but stronger. A recipe straight from Orzammar. They argue, fuss, and mock each other mercilessly. And I would be lost without them.
The more things change.
Let us hope we fare better than they did.
They were happy, then dead. But this is still here.
We have a plan. Heron and Irina will lead the Ava elsewhere, so Talana and I can deal with the dragon. My spirit companion believes we can seal the dragon away, even if we cannot kill it. It is less clear whether I can do so without sealing myself in as well. But I have little choice. This beast will wreak devastation across Orlean unless we stop it now. Dragon of the Avar. All is in place. I offer thanks to Gilanan, Hala Mother, and to Andraste, Maker Bride. As you were raised up from mortal men to stand with our creators, our makers, so raise me up now to defend this world.
The Inquisitor honored both the Maker and the Elven gods.
They're not so different, Drakon. Just another pair of boots to walk the same road. He doesn't see, wants it simple, but I can help him get there. There's room for both.
Inquisitor, I understand you located the final resting place of Inquisitor Ameridan.
He wasn't resting when we found him. Waiting, maybe.
I'm sorry?
A ritual kept Inquisitor Ameridan alive all these centuries, binding him and the dragon.
Oh. Did his... Talana cast some sort of spell before retreating? Or... You're not implying that Ameridan was a mage. I'm committed to the truth, but if such an important figure in Chantry history were revealed to have been a mage...
Not just a mage, Kenrick. An elven mage.
Oh. Oh, and Dusty's dimples, this will be... I'll either be famous or beheaded. This upends centuries of history, not to mention families claiming descent from him. There may be consternation. Nevertheless, what matters is the truth. If he was elven, then the Dalish, well, it will be just brilliant. I will spread the word appropriately. Thank you again for this marvelous opportunity.
I hear you judge wrongs among your people, Inquisitor. If you are willing, I ask you to judge Storvacker.
I'm sorry.
As a warrior of our hold, Storvacker should have died rather than submit to the vile ritual the jaws of Hakkon had prepared. It is unclear whether the Augur or I should judge such a thing. You are here. I would be grateful.
Very well. I wouldn't want life in the hold to become unbearable.
Ah, Storvacker, will you speak to the hold for your deeds?
Storvacker, I demand an unflattering report of your performance as Hold Beast. It will be recited to you every day for 1 week. I trust this is sufficient embarrassment?
It will give our Skald a challenge, Inquisitor.